The Vietnam War remains a pivotal point in modern history. It's a tale often told through the lens of political policy, military strategy, and a world polarized between the East and West. However, there are other narratives less told but equally as important that form the complex tapestry of this conflict. In this video, we aim to uncover these untold stories, offering a fresh perspective on this tumultuous period. Decoding the Domino Theory, the Cold War context. Within the geopolitical chessboard of the Cold War, the Vietnam War was more than a localized skirmish. It was a significant piece, driven by the fear encapsulated in the Domino Theory. This theory, embraced by the US, suggested a communist takeover in Vietnam would trigger a domino effect, causing the rest of Southeast Asia to topple into communism. But in focusing solely on this international viewpoint, we tend to overlook the equally significant local narratives, Vietnamese political struggles, quests for national sovereignty, and complex internal dynamics were just as vital to the war's unfolding. Therefore, while the Domino Theory provides context for the US's engagement, it doesn't fully encompass the multifaceted reality on the ground in Vietnam. Understanding this divergence offers us a more nuanced picture of the war, West narrative, and delving into the intricacies of Vietnam's own battles for autonomy and identity. In this intricate dance of global and local politics, we find the true complexity of the Vietnam War. The hidden toll, civilian casualties. Official war narratives often revolve around battlefields, strategies, and soldiers. But beneath this military-centric account lies a more grim and sorrowful tale. The story of the innocent civilians caught in the crossfire of the Vietnam War. The number of civilian casualties during this conflict paints a stark and distressing picture. The unrelenting bombings, indiscriminate free fire zones, and the merciless use of chemical warfare resulted in an estimated 2 million non-combatant deaths. Countless more were injured, displaced, or left destitute in the wake of relentless conflict. This narrative, while uncomfortable, is essential to understanding the true cost of the war, a cost borne not only by soldiers, but also by civilians whose lives were disrupted, dreams shattered, and futures stolen. Their struggles and losses, often overshadowed in conventional war narratives, provide an essential, albeit heartbreaking, lens through which to view the Vietnam War. This unseen toll calls for our acknowledgement and remembrance, giving voice to those silenced in the din of war. The unknown heroes, indigenous people in the Vietnam War. When you think of the Vietnam War, do you picture indigenous tribesmen? Probably not. Yet, the Montagnards, native to the central highlands of Vietnam, played an indispensable role during the conflict. These unsung heroes, highly skilled in jungle survival and navigation, teamed up with the US Special Forces, guiding them through unfamiliar and treacherous terrain. The Montagnards provided valuable local knowledge and support, helping turn the tide in many key battles. Despite their significant contributions, their story remains largely untold and their sacrifices unrecognized. An unseen thread in the fabric of the war's narrative. History books may gloss over their roles, but the Montagnards' bravery and dedication were nothing short of heroic. We not only honor their contributions, but also enrich our understanding of the broader Vietnam War narrative, revealing its multifaceted and complex nature. So, the next time you reflect on the Vietnam War, remember the indigenous heroes whose roles were as critical as they were invisible. Before we continue with our adventure, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell not to miss future videos every week. Let's get back to the video. The underappreciated warriors, the role of women. Just as the Montagnards were the invisible guides of the jungle, women were the unseen pillars of strength in the Vietnam War. Their roles were diverse, yet equally impactful. Vietnamese women, often underestimated by enemy forces, served not only as medics, tending to the wounded in the harshest of conditions, but also as fearless fighters and invaluable spies. Their courage and commitment were immeasurable. Across the Pacific, American women were making their mark as well. Predominantly nurses, they worked tirelessly in challenging conditions to provide critical care for injured soldiers. Their healing touch brought comfort to many in times of despair. Their grit, resilience, and unwavering dedication brought hope and light to the grimmest battlefields. However, despite their invaluable contributions, their stories are seldom told. They remain, largely, the unsung heroes of this historical narrative. Recognizing and appreciating their roles is not just about giving credit where it's due. It's about painting a complete, nuanced portrait of the Vietnam War. So let's bring their stories to the fore, shedding light on the formidable courage and unwavering resilience of these underappreciated warriors. The aftermath, the legacy of Agent Orange. Delving into the war's aftermath. we come face to face with the lasting scars left by Agent Orange, a powerful defoliant used extensively by the U.S. military. Its widespread use has woven a tragic and enduring thread into the post-war narrative. Agent Orange is not a relic of the past. Its impact resonates through the decades, manifesting in heart-wrenching health issues that continue to plague both the Vietnamese population and American veterans. It's a chilling tale of birth defects, lingering diseases, and lives irreparably altered. The verdant landscapes, once teeming with life, bear silent testimony to the deadly cocktail of chemicals that seeped into their very roots. Families, too, bear the invisible, yet indelible, imprint of this weapon. Babies, born with congenital disabilities, loved ones battling cancer, communities forever marked by the specter of chemical warfare. These are the ongoing chapters of Agent Orange's legacy. The war may have ended, but for many, the battle with the fallout of Agent Orange is a daily reality. Silent suffering, the plight of the Vietnam veterans. The journey back home for Vietnam veterans was far from a hero's welcome. Amidst the whirlwind of political dissent and public backlash, they found themselves in an alien environment, battling wounds both visible and invisible, haunted by the echoes of gunfire and the horrors of war. Many faced a formidable foe in the form of post-traumatic stress disorder, nightmares, flashbacks, and the ever-present specter of anxiety cast long shadows over their lives, making their transition to civilian existence an uphill battle. Beyond mental health, their physical wounds were a constant reminder of the battlegrounds they'd left behind. Prosthetic limbs, scarred bodies, and disability became their silent medals of honor, belying the enormous sacrifice they'd made. And yet societal support for these brave men and women often fell short. The resources for adequate medical care, mental health support, and financial stability were woefully lacking. Their struggle, tucked away in the hidden pages of the Vietnam War narrative, reveals a poignant and troubling truth. The war didn't end when the guns fell silent for them. For many, the battlefield simply transformed into an internal war, fought within the confines of their hearts and minds, long after the physical conflict had ended. The unseen impact, the environmental cost of war. A war's impact goes beyond human casualty and socio-political changes. It scars the earth too. The environment bore a significant brunt of the Vietnam War, a fact often eclipsed by other narratives. Massive deforestation was a direct result of the strategy to expose the enemy by destroying forest cover. This led to unprecedented biodiversity loss, while unexploded ordnance littered across the country continued to pose a deadly threat to humans and wildlife alike. The agricultural landscape wasn't spared either. Prolific use of chemical defoliants, especially Agent Orange, tainted the soil and water, disrupting farming, and thereby food security for years to come. This environmental legacy of the Vietnam War is still visible today, a quiet yet potent reminder of war's long-lasting footprint. As we revisit the many stories of this conflict, let's not overlook the silent sufferer, the environment. By acknowledging this aspect, we deepen our comprehension of the war's comprehensive impact, a step crucial to ensure we tread with more caution in the future. And there you have it, folks. If you stayed until the end, make sure to comment what you would like to see next on the channel. See you all in the next video.